So hi, welcome. I'm going to show you how to install a Mac OS X operating system within a VM Virtual Box. This program is made by Oracle and it allows you to install multiple operating systems on your existing hardware. And these installations are in virtual disks, so they can be deleted at any time and they won't affect your day-to-day operations of your normal system. So as you can see here, I've already installed Captivate. I've already installed Mac OS X a few times, and I've recorded this a few times. It's just for some reason Captivate would crash once I published a video. So I'm doing this again with MSN Video Recorder, and hopefully the quality stays the same. So just to give you a idea of how it works, let's start up one of the installations I made already. So as this pop up, you're going to press OK. This is just telling you to capture your keyboard. So that's fine. And now your virtual box is starting up. And Mac OS X is booting. You're going to press OK again. Once again, press OK. And our desktop should populate in a moment. So this is our desktop, and we have full Mac OS X running on in a Windows environment here. And just to show you proof, we can move this around, resize, but this is Mac running within Windows. So now I'm going to show you how to basically do this yourself. So first we're going to close this machine down so you can see this. You press machine, then close, and we're going to make sure we power off the machine. We press OK. So this is the main menu for Oracle VM Virtual Box Manager, and here you can select all your different operating systems. Once again, like I told you, I've installed multiple because we've done this a few times. So for demonstration purposes to how to set up your own, let's delete one of these, and we want to delete all files. Okay, and now we're going to start a new virtual machine. And so you can title this machine whatever you want. I'm going to call it Home Computer 3. And here you're going to choose what operating system you want this virtual machine to run. You can run Linux, Solaris, IBM, Windows. Just for demonstration purposes, because the ISO is easier to get, we're going to be running a Mac OS X today. And here you click Next. Here's the RAM allocation menu. I recommend staying at 2 gigs as if you're trying to run more intensive applications that needs more RAM, like Photoshop, video publishing and editing software, and music production software. You're going to need more RAM. But just to warn you, if you get into the orange and red areas, it's easier for your whole system to crash. because users have to remember you're running two computers at the same time, or two systems, and they're both trying to use that RAM. So this is very important. I try to stay within the green. That'll be my recommendation. So you're going to press next, and this is 2 gigs. And we want to create a virtual hard drive now. And this is telling us the recommended size is 20 gigs. But it really depends on what type of programs you're installing. Are you using this for just a demo purposes, or are you using this for your main computer? But this gives you the options to increase that. So we're going to press create, but make sure it says virtual hard drive now. Create it now. And we're going to make a virtual machine disk. I prefer this because this is more compatible with other VMwares and other virtualization software. So I try to use this one, VMDK. You're going to press next. Make sure you're dynamically allocated. You press next. Here, once again, you're assigning the name for the hard drive. This hard drive is called Home Computer 3, and it's 20 gigs. That's how big the partition is. So this is just giving you another chance to change the name of the computer and also how big the space you want to use. Press create. And so now your virtual machine is created within this Oracle software. Now you can't start it yet. You have to set up the computer. So what we're going to do is make sure the computer is highlighted here in blue, and you're going to go to settings. Once you're in settings, you want to change a few things. You want to go to the Systems tab. Here, you want to make sure where it says chipset that you're running on the PIIX3 chipset. This is going to allow you to run on the AMD and Intel processors. Furthermore, you want to disable EFI. So you want to make sure this is unchecked. Enable EFI. Make sure that's unchecked or disabled. When you get to the processor, you want to make sure you're using your processors well. I have up to 12 processors to use, but I'm going to assign 2 to make it a little bit speedier during the installation process. And where acceleration, you want to make sure these 2 are both checked. Both are enabled. When you get to display tab right here, you want to make sure your video memory is all the way up to the highest you can go. And I want to enable 3D acceleration. Finally, when you get to storage, you want to click on the empty CD right here underneath the controller IDE. And here, you want to assign that ISO that we got for Mac OS X. This ISO is available different download channels. I got mine from a torrent. The reason why I did this is because the Mac OS doesn't need an activation key, so this was easier to show for demo purposes. So we click right here on the CD next to where it says ID secondary master, and here my ISO for Mac OS X was on my desktop. That's where I downloaded the file, and it should populate here. If you can't, you just go find it right here using this, but since mine's already here, I'm going to click on that. So now, as it's showing here, the disk is on your controller IDE. So what this means in layman's terms is the virtual machine is going to boot from this disk, which is the installation disk. Here where it says controller SATA, this is where it's going to install this information on this disk onto this hard drive. So you want to make sure this is the hard drive you set up as the virtual disk. It should say the virtual disk right here, and it should also tell you the size, which was 20 gigs, and that's what we allocated earlier. The rest of your settings are up to your discretion. You can choose audio drivers, you can choose network adapters, serial ports, USB controllers that will work, that won't work. But just for demo purposes, this is all you need to get started. So as we have this, we just want to go through, make sure all your settings are proper, or it won't boot. And so since everything here looks fine, we're going to start that computer. So our computer is starting, and you're going to make sure you press F8, that it says right here, before that gets to 0. So actually it didn't work correctly here. So what we have to do is go in and restart the machine. So like I said, you want to press F8 before this gets to 0. So you know you're in the right place when you see Snow Leopard along this menu. And before you do anything else, you have to enter a few commands. So where it says boot colon, you want to press space dash v CPU s equals 1, bus ratio equals 20. You press enter, and now your virtual machine, your virtual box, should be booting from this installation disk, which is a Mac installation. And so we're going to choose English. Make this a little bit wider for you guys to see. And now it's preparing the installation. You're going to press continue. And all keyboards should work. USB keyboards, wireless keyboards. I'm using a wireless keyboard setup, and it recognizes it without me changing any settings. So here you're going to press agree. And don't freak out if you don't see a destination disk to install that Mac OS X. What we have to do is go into utilities, disk utility, and here we're going to grab this virtual box. This is that 20 gig partition we set up in the beginning, and we're going to erase it, and we're going to format that disk. This disk needs to be formatted because it's not formatted to accept the Mac operating system. And if you're familiar with Mac, this is the process you go through to basically install a new operating system on your Mac. So it's the same process. You're going to make sure this says Mac OS X Extended Journal, and you can title the hard drive whatever you want. I'm just going to keep it untitled, and you're going to press erase. And so this is going to erase the disk, and that's fine. Don't freak out. Once again, this is not erasing anything on your real computer. This is just erasing that virtual drive. Again, it's nothing in it anyways. So we're going to press X here. We're going to click on that disk. That should populate there. If it doesn't populate there, you go back and do it again. But I haven't had any problems since. It's telling you the installation requires 5.4 gigs of space. So this, you have to really be cognizant of how much space you need on your virtual box. Since I assigned 20 gigs, this is taking up about 6 gigs. We're going to have 14 gigs left of space to play with. So if you need more space than that, and if you're downloading more programs and larger programs and bigger files, you're going to need to allocate more space. So we're going to press continue. And then before you press install, we're going to customize the installation. And here we're going to press Mac OS X 10.6.2. We're going to open up the bootloaders, and we're going to install the Chameleon RC3 PCEFI 10.5. So make sure you get the 10.5 version. At kernels, we want to install the legacy kernel. For our graphics drivers, we want to install the graphic enabler. Everything else is up to your discretion on whether you want to install. And I like to install QuickTime 7 because you need that to run a lot of the programs on the Mac side. So there, we're going to press done, and we're going to press install. You can press skip for here because we're not installing from a DVD. So this is going to take a few minutes. approximately about a minute, the installation is going to be finished. And we're going to boot from the virtual hard drive that we created. And so we're going to press restart. And where it says devices, you're going to go to CD/DV devices, and you're going to click on the Snow Leopard disk. As soon as you see that, you're going to see this screen where it says force on mount. You're going to click force on mount. So as the virtual box restarts, you will begin booting from that virtual disk that we installed that ISO just on recently. And so as this boots, this is going to take us through the rest of the menu for our installation.